Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Republic of Kenya. In Nairobi is Miriam Ogutu in the studios of Punchline Africa Television. Good afternoon, Miriam.
A very good afternoon, Doctor. Good afternoon, Professor, and good afternoon to our viewers, wherever they're watching us from this afternoon.
Also, we are joined by Professor Jared, Professor Onyari. Let me say that. I don't want to say this other word. We are joined by Professor Onyari, a chaplain, a professor of theology, a professor of conflict resolution mechanism, professor of mediation. Oh my God. And one thing is not a professor, it's not a professor of corruption. He hates corruption. And that therefore is with us in the studio today to discuss as our in-house analyst to bring faith in our proceedings on this television, Professor Gerard Onyari. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Masanga, Miriam, and our viewers from wherever they are around the world.
Thank you very much. And we are on it. The Chronicles of Chief Justice Maraga. The 7 years come to an end in about 4 months from now. But 4 months from now to 3 to 5 months from now, Chief Justice Maraga will be a normal person walking on the streets with the title of a former Chief Justice. Does that title befit Maraga? Yes, on paper it does. In reality, he wasn't a good Chief Justice, and he's not. My opinion is my opinion, and the opinion of the panel is the opinion of the panel and the other viewers. But let me take it on the Chronicles. Before I do that, I want us to watch part of what Chief Justice Maraga opened up on Sunday. Let's see what he said on Sunday. Then we can come back, compose ourselves, because there is a lot of material to discuss, and we shall be guided by Miriam. Me, I don't want to talk much. I just want to answer questions that Miriam will ask me, and Miriam will ask us. Professor, I don't know whether you want to talk beyond this. We have talked, we have said, in the normal circumstances, credibility comes from the holder of the office, not we who see the office. During an interview with NTV reporter, he was asked about so many things. But for me, I will keep it tight to 4 categories. I will touch the Deputy Chief Justice case. I will touch Nakuru incidents, one of them during the ICC days. I will touch the Akasha. And I would like to see Professor touching the nullification of the elections. Because if I touch the nullification of elections, they will think I'm biased. I would like to see Professor talk about it, whether this was worth a decision, and whether that decision gives the Chief Justice the legacy. So back to Miriam. I have identified my areas. The Nakuru Chronicles. What happened in Nakuru when the Chief Justice was a judge, a presiding judge in Nakuru? There are so many cases that went wrong One of them is the policeman who shot a person in Nakuru. This case is quoted by petitioners every time they petition about the conduct of the Chief Justice. Then there is the case of the released ICC perpetrators of lower crimes by the then judge of Nakuru, who was David Maraga. His links with the Open Society Foundation of East Africa are the links that I'll discuss most, Miriam. Thank you.
All right. Well, looking at that, the information that was just running there on the screen from an excerpt from the interview that a Chief Justice had over the weekend. There he was asked about the DCJ, that is the Deputy Chief Justice, who in her case is still facing a case. And from what was on that screen, the NTV reporter asked, what about the accusations about your Deputy Philomena Mwilu? I mean, tax evasion, abuse of office, among other serious charges. And the CJ answered, well, I will not comment on that because it is a matter that is before the court, but I will say kila mtu abebe mzigo wake.
First of all, Miriam, in normal jurisprudence of the Commonwealth, the case of the Deputy Chief Justice, Justice Mwilu, would not have stopped. If the police, this is one of the chronicles, and I would again use Nakuru as a center. If the police, if Madame Mwilu went with the husband for holiday near Nakuru Park, and they started fighting in the park, does the police arrest her or does the JSC arrest her? And if the police arrest her, does the police book an OB, occurrence book, in the occurrence computer to say Mwilu beat the ear of the husband? Does the police do that? Yes, the police does that. Did the Chief Justice, as a man in charge of the court, did he make very reasoned judgment to allow a 5-man bench panel to listen into an application without charging the Deputy Chief Justice, who had committed the highest type of crime in Kenya's economic crime fight against corruption? She obtained laundered money. She used the letterhead of the judiciary. She forged the document of the judiciary. She had a link with a terrorist funding group, which has been banned from doing any business in the world. So there was no need of the Chief Justice forming a tribunal or a panel of judges refusing the Chief Justice, the Deputy Chief Justice, from taking a plea. Under the Commonwealth law, whether you are Chief Justice, whether you are Prince Charles, whether you are who, you take a plea. A plea must be taken. Then you can do the rest of other things later. The lawyers, led by Orengo and the others, ran to the court, stopped Chief Justice Maraga from, stopped Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu, and they stopped the proceedings. Have we succeeded in those proceedings? The answer is no. Have we got anywhere near those proceedings? The answer still remains no. Shall we ever solve those proceedings? The answer still remains no. Do we know the progress of the case? The answer still remains no. Chronicle number 1. Chronicle number 2. During the ICC cases, I followed each and everything that was happening on International Criminal Court. Chief Justice Maraga was the presiding judge in Nakuru. Chief Justice Maraga released all the perpetrators of lower crimes in Nakuru. Why did he release them? And yet most of the people they killed, most of the people they cut, most of the people they displaced were from Nyamira and Akisi and Kisumu. I want to be candid. Why did they release these culprits? At that time, they did not want the ICC to release Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto to return to stand trial in the local court. Because if you are trying people here with crimes of murder, those younger men who murdered people, who cut people, who cut people's heads, legs, whom we are seeing with machetes, if you were trying them in Kenya, there was no use of ICC trying Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto for the same crimes. The cases of Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta and their Kappa-6 would have returned. According to the document that we have, Mr. Maina Kiai, in this document, Mr. Maina Kiai according to this document, Mr. Maina Kiai approached a judge and approached the court. Remember, Maina Kiai has been working along with the ICC, with the courts up to today. The judge who was approached to release the evidence is here. A judge was approached and the judge had a meeting, several meetings, 4 of them. And the Chief Justice Maraga was the judge. He was indoctrinated in George Soros' bandwagon. From that day, CJ David became an NGO judge. The evidence is here. The judge was approached in Nakuru to release all the suspects who murdered the people from Kisii, Kisumu, Nyamira, Migori, Kiambu, Meru, Uganda, because most of the people who were murdered in the Rift Valley, some of them came from Uganda. I've looked at the death certificates. There are at least 2 to 4 people, families linked to the Ugandans. Who was the judge presiding in Nakuru? You now know the truth. The judge was Justice CJ Maraga. We move further. On the question of the Acacia, Mr. Maraga said, these are chronicles. You know, chronicle musical chairs, we are just packaging them. We want to create music. Maraga said there was nobody in the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya who had any links with the Akasha family. The documents that we have, in case he wants to come up with his defense in the future, the documents that we have show that CJ Maraga is wrong, was wrong, and will always be wrong on the Akasha case. Miriam, you have evidence there which you can read to our viewers about the United States courts coming back, looking for 4 judges. There are about 3 to 4 judges, that plus 1 lawyer, my friend Cliff Ombeta. They are being looked for by FBI for their connections, for having made it impossible for justice to prevail in their cases of Akasha and the drugs at the coast. Chronicle number 4, which I will try to avoid bringing the videos, but I will mention. I want Kenyans to answer this question. How many of you think the Chief Justice had a driver in Nakuru when he had an accident? How many of you think so? Then we shall come back. I will not say anything on that chronicle, but leave it to Jesus Christ and to the soul-searching people and to the doctors who treated the drivers, the doctors who treated the bodyguard, the mechanics who repaired the car owner whose car was knocked. Aha! Are we going somewhere there? So, plus the police officers who were on the scene. How many of you believe the story? And I leave it to God and the angel Gabriel. I will not discuss it. Beyond that is a chronicle. So, Mr. Chief Justice, just write your terminal departure. Give us a bill of health of the cases that you have won. You have been a disaster. I will not touch this one because I am an interested party. I will leave this one to Professor Onyari. Miriam, for me, I am asking open-minded questions. That car you see there, I want the mechanics who repaired to come out as Kenyans. I want the doctors who treated the bodyguard and the drivers to come out and say, this is the injury, this is the medicine we gave them. What time was the medicine? Who was the nurse on duty? And above all, where was the Chief Justice going on Saturday? Whom was he going to meet? According to the telephone conversation. So there you are. Inawaka moto na achia hapo. Staki mengi. Onyari, staki mengi. Siingie hapo. I will not show the videos. I will not show anything. I'll just leave it to Kenyans. Those interested Kenyans who can answer this question can answer it. But it's one of the most devastating moments of a lie of a liar. So if God says we should come out and pray so hard and lie and turn into thieves and claim we who are thieves become poor when we are sold, and then start tormenting those. So let's all make us, everybody become sold, then turn to poor. I give it to God. That let me also be praying every Saturday, like Onyari does. Maybe change from Sunday to Saturday. Because if mine is Sunday, because I don't see a lie. I don't lie as an Anglican. If I don't have food at my house, I tell the truth. My children slept hungry. I leave the question of elections. That was nullified. But I will talk about the speech of the Chief Justice in Oxford University. What did he say? Remember, this is on the Chronicles. Every day, every Tuesday, until the Chief Justice goes. Chronicles. Maybe by the end of the day, the video will come somewhere, but Chronicles. Thank you. Miriam, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much there. So, Prof, before you just come in to look at that election in 2017, just a quick introduction. This story was carried out yesterday on the Daily Nation, page 6. So the Chief Justice, David Maraga, has said he will still arrive at the decision that led to the nullification of President Uhuru Kenyatta's poll win in 2017. Even 10 years from now. He noted that he has no regrets from the verdict he made alongside 3 of his colleagues at the Supreme Court. In a no-holds barred interview with NTV, Mr. Maraga said his decision was arrived based on the evidence tabled before the court, which in the estimation showed that Mr. Kenyatta, together with his deputy William Ruto, were not elected in a free, fair and credible process. Professor, even many years later there, Chief Justice Maraga has said even 10 years from now, you ask him the same question, he'll still stand by that decision that they made there in 2017.
Miriam, that's a good question, and that was a decision which was made by the majority of the Supreme Court judges, 4 against 2. And always it does not mean, Miriam, you can agree with me, that the majority, yes, they can have their way, but they are not right. So he's entitled to say that he can make a regret, but what he cannot get the ruling of the 4 judges and get the ruling of Justice Ojwang and Justice Njoki. You read it and you compare it by yourself. So what I want to say that the majority does not mean you are right. It is simply you are the majority. You can just get outside here, find people lynching someone, and you join them. It does not mean. But there's this person who sits us across and is asking, what did this person do? Always listen to the silent voice. He's entitled to his opinion, but what I know, Miriam, that ruling is haunting the Chief Justice up to now. He should stop cheating the people of Kenya that he will stand by. It is haunting him up to now. Haven't you seen that the judiciary is losing the budget? Every other time there's a cutting, and he doesn't know how to negotiate. Our Chief Justice, wherever he has got, he heads one arm of the government, the judiciary. The president heads executive, and the other senators, the National Assembly Speaker, and the one for those are the 3 arms of government. But every other time,
Prof,
what do you normally see?
I need to understand what you're saying. You're saying that decision is haunting him in terms of now it is affecting how he's carrying out his duties. But he's in his conscience as a human being, he's saying he is very at peace with what he said.
Fine, yes. But now he has said, that is his opinion, but now we want to make an analysis. Every other time, you see him coming to read a speech to tell Kenyans, He's a man who is haunted. And Miriam, let me tell you, in South Africa, when Jacob Zuma was the deputy president, was the vice president, and he was accused of corruption with his accomplices. In fact, the court had found him guilty, and he was going to be sentenced together with his accomplishments. So do you know what happened? When the judges looked from the window, they saw those men of the Suru with the spears. They had to change the ruling and sentence his partner for the sake of peace. So the peace of a country, Miriam, I'm coming from the area of peace. In the area of peace, you can temper. Just Miriam, hear this. Did he envisage that the prime minister will pull out of that direction? Did he have that? You interrogate. He thought it's something people have woken very in the morning, they have gone for an election, they have voted, and then you just say that you will stand for it? Thank God that God is with this nation. Kenya was heading towards being a failed state because immediately the days he had ordered for repeat were expiring. And Raila had disqualified himself. It is the judiciary which came with that funny ruling with the Kuro court saying that you can go and you have that kind of election. So Miriam, that judgment was not thought of. There's sometimes when you need to be check your peace and being right. What he did, yes, he was right. Is he happy? Mm-hmm. You have heard what Dr. Masanga has raised. Who was driving that car? It is in the public domain that he was the one who was driving that car. And now he tells us the other one you tell her, right, this one you stand for it. Miriam, life does not work like that. I'm telling you the truth. Mm-hmm. If you stand for the right, it is yesterday, in daytime, in the night. So that judgment, Miriam, mm-hmm. was making Kenya being a failed state. Mm-hmm. And remember, that judgment is haunting him when the prime minister and the president, who are politicians, they have shook hands and they are moving together.
Yes.
Every other time he's lamenting, he's not being invited, he's not doing all these things. The Chief Justice should change strategy, free advice. Mm-hmm. His time is up. Let him not even wait for that terminal leave.
I think, I think
let him just say, Kenyans, I have done my bit, I want to go home and rest. Mm. But the moment you keep on insisting, you are right, it will not haunt you for 10 years, but the body language does not speak the same thing. So, Miriam, mm-hmm. nullification of the presidential election was clearly created by the global interest. It was not the interest of these people. The George Soros were at the center of that one. Kenyans woke up very in the morning. They went for an elections. We voted. Even the international observer missions, they don't observe only Kenya. They observe around the continent of Africa. What was their verdict? They say the elections, these were their words. The elections were free, fair, and credible. These are the observers. They were in the field. The judges of the Supreme Court did not go to the polling station to observe and give us this verdict. It was evidence which was observed. And they did not interrogate what was represented before the court. Miriam, okay, be it as it may, it is true. The ruling will not haunt him. He said the Electoral Commission meddled with the elections. Did they give a right for them to be investigated? You saw the other day, when the Senate were not very clear with what happened with the Senate, with the governor of Kirinyaga, they said EIC to investigate further. Mm-hmm. What could stop them from making that rider? That the IPC should be investigated further. So, Miriam, mm-hmm. that's what the interest for the global interest. Mm-hmm. He is entitled for his opinion. And we agree for saying that, but we can interpret what it means. That ruling will haunt him today, yesterday, and for 10 years and beyond.
Very well. He said that that decision was conducted in accordance with the Constitution and declared it invalid, null, and void. And of course, according to the Daily Nation, much to the agitation of Mr. Kenyatta, who vowed to revisit the matter. Daniel, I see that you've joined us. So we're looking at, the Chief Justice, David Maraga, and we're just looking at that election that was nullified in 2017. And during an interview on Sunday on NTV, our Chief Justice said even 10 years from now, he would have made the same decision. He has no regrets whatsoever.
Yes, Miriam, thank you for that question. And I've been listening to the conversation, and what Prof has said is quite true, that Maraga has never had peace of mind since he made that ruling in 2017. You know, these are ruling that threw Kenyans onto the edge of a precipice. The country was at the brink of falling into chaos. And as a Chief Justice all over the world, you can count, Miriam, how many presidential elections have been nullified across the whole globe. And there are less than 4 actually. And for Maraga to come and do such a thing, perhaps he did not even put the peace and the unity of the country into play. And considering that we had only had less than 10 years from the divisive 2007 to 2008 election, it was really something which was not called for. And as Professor has put it, and as Dr. Matsanga has always said, this was not something that was done in the best interest of majority of Kenyans. And as a country, and as a patriot, he never acted in those precincts. This was something which was motivated by external foreign powers. He had people who he wanted to please. And you can always hear him talk about leaving a legacy. This is not a legacy. This is an era that could have easily plunged this country into chaos like 2007, 2008. And Maraga should be very, very appreciative that, thank God, the country never went deep south as it would have been. And Raila Odinga set a very good example in having the handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta. So that tells him that before he would have arrived at his decision to annul the polls, he would have thought of the bigger country, the interest of the Kenyans living back in the rural areas, in those hotspot areas where we've been having ethnic conflict and animosities. So he failed Kenyans, and that is something that he's gonna take to his grave. But fortunately, he's only left with few days to exit office. So let him handle the ghost of the 2017 elections peacefully. He should not drag President Uhuru Kenyatta's name and the executive into the mess that is his own creation, Miriam.
Right, very well. So during this interview, Doctor, the Chief Justice was asked about, the judges there. And Doctor, you've mentioned that before, about there is the issue of judges colluding with especially politicians to ensure impunity thrives. For instance, we have rich individuals committing crimes and getting away with it. And the CJ Maraga answered that, okay, I will not deny the fact that there is corruption in the judiciary. In fact, there are some judges that we have even dismissed. We are at the forefront of fighting corruption. So the Chief Justice is saying, be it as it may, yes, there are bad judges in the judiciary, but the judiciary is also helping in the fight against corruption. They're not lagging behind.
Surely, there is fighting corruption. I want to read something. On 12th of September 2011, in an affidavit sworn by one name withheld because of security technicalities, in a place, location in Nakuru. The former ambassador of Netherlands by name Letitia van den Asselum. Letitia van den Asselum. Of telephone number 0735 730 626. Met together with the following people. Omar Hassan Omar, a commissioner of Kenya National Commission of Human Rights. Met Mr. Kiai Maina, a member of Kenya National Human Rights. In a meeting that was attended on the same day, as evidenced here. Here you can see on these other pages. Miriam, I'm showing the pages. It's here recorded. In this meeting in Nakuru Maraga Hotel with CCTV available, the High Court judge, whom now you know, was also in presence when a discussion of an amount of 60 million, which is almost $600,000. Converted that to euros, but the amount quoted here was agreed, where the Kenya Human Rights, headed by Hassan Omar, Maina Kiai, and others, could go and remove, and I repeat, remove all the affidavits which had been filed in favor of the government to prosecute the 600 perpetrators of ICC in the Rift Valley. In that meeting, which ended at 3:25 East African time, East African time, Ambassador Letitia van Asselum of Netherlands Embassy by then agreed to meet again in Nairobi to collect the resources 1 week later, which was to be passed back to the system. I wanted to prove that, Miriam, to bring it to the attention of the viewers. This is documented. It is here as witness. So many things happened in that Rift Valley. The purpose of the meeting, according to the video tapes, the video from the hotel include how they can remove the case of the 600 accused. You remember the director of public prosecution? Who was the director of public prosecution in 2011? The director of public prosecution in 2011 was none other than the current Minister of Environment. He was embarrassed when he woke up to try to bring charges. He found that all the agencies had withdrawn their affidavit against the perpetrators, the killers, the real killers who killed people with a machete. And Onyari, we are all the time here talking about fighting for rights of the people. A judge colluded. This judge never liked these men, never liked Uhuru, he never liked Ruto, he never liked them from the beginning. Somebody colluded to move affidavits. They are here. So when the case came before the judge, it was dismissed. The DPP had nothing to say because all the evidence was removed by Mr. Hassan Omar, who was the Kenya National Human Rights Commission chairperson, who was the judge. We allowed a man to bring all this into the High Court of Republic of Kenya. You have seen the results. The results, this is the first phase of our chronicles, because we are writing now chronicles of Maraga, or Maraga Chronicles. So this is one of the departments that we shall dwell on with evidence. That evidence does not die in Safaricom. It is still there. The telephone number, the ambassador was removed. When I put up a question to them, when this affidavit was found for her to be brought before the ICC tribunal, she was transferred together with Open Society Foundation. They paid $60 million, 60 million shillings. I don't know the rate. The rate at that time was about 51, 52. That's the amount of money. That's how people ended up buying farms. It was agreed a farm was immediately, a farm was purchased, and may God help us. I don't want to discuss the next version of corruption. So when you talk about corruption, tell us about how you fought corruption. When your own farm where you are eating, your toilet is best, is corruptly bought. Can you call that you are a clean man? Was that farm paid for? Was that farm paid for? Immediately, check the record. Immediately, 2011, 12 September. 1 month, 2 months, 2 months passed. A farm was purchased. As investigative journalists, let's try to piece all these things together. You will find the answers. But for me, Miriam, on the question of corruption, to say there are no corrupt people, I brought you, that is an evidence that somebody colluded, someone accepts, someone left the friend, someone knows that kila mtu abebe msalaba yake, someone knows that the chief justice, the deputy justice Vilomeno Mwarwa was not supposed to be charged in court. It was not supposed to be, taken to JSE, SC, like Baraza was taken. Baraza was taken later when she had been charged. There must be a charge sheet. There must be an OB. How do you collect 5 judges of appeal who later on made a ruling? Up to today, we have not got any results from Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice Mwino. You call that a court?
Very well, Professor, as we conclude.
Miriam, I'm happy with the Chief Justice for having admitted there's some corruption in the judiciary involving some of the judges. That is very good, Miriam, very good. Him, when he says there is corruption involving some of the judges in the judiciary, it is okay. When someone else sees that there is corruption, it becomes bad. Miriam, we have not appointed 41 judges. They have not been appointed by the president, simply because the president is telling that some of the judges here are corrupt. Miriam, is that how we fight corruption? That it is you who can see, others cannot see? Come on, Miriam. That is not how we will fight corruption. That is how we could not fight corruption. And some of the judges, Miriam, those who have been promoted to go to Court of Appeal, they are the ones who have been said they are corrupt. And he's telling us there are some of the corrupt judges. So the Chief Justice should move an extra mile to tell us who are these corrupt judges. It's not a matter of coming to the interview just merely to say that there's corruption. We want to see who are those judges, him as the chairman of Judicial Service Commission, as the president of the Supreme Court, as the Chief Justice of this country. He has got greater responsibility to consult the president. May I compare your notes? Some of those judges you are not comfortable with, whether they are the ones I have in mind. Miriam, that's how we will fight with corruption. Otherwise, you should not be the only one to see corruption, and I don't see, or Dr. Masanga does not see. So I entirely agree with Dr. Masanga and Miriam. My breed, the Chief Justice. And I come from the same traditions, the way he says. When you carry a pot with water from the river, you carry it all the way. When you have reached the door, the pot breaks there and the water spills off. The president, the Chief Justice, has done all that he has done for the people of this country. Me, my recommendation, let him not even wait for that terminal leave. Let him start going home. Perhaps history may come to spare him. But if he insists, fine. We have no quarrels. The Chronicles started. We are going to give Chronicles one after the other. One after the other. One after the other.
Professor.
Like now you see the Deputy Chief Justice, Miriam.
Professor,
you work from there.
your face.
If you will take a letterhead of your employer, Miriam, you go for personal gain, what will happen to you? Won't you be sacked? Even the chief, I wonder how this country operates, Miriam. Even the Judicial Service Commission. This is the person who has used the letterhead of judiciary. He's not supposed to use it for personal gain. That's enough to send him home or to send her home.
You cannot, as a Chief Justice, appoint a commission, an appeal chamber, to look at whether the Chief Justice can make a plea or can accept to make a plea, to take a plea or not. It is very clear whether the Queen of England, if she's found that she has taken money, she's the one who created the law that we use. She has to take a plea. These guys have killed the legacy of Uhuru Kenyatta. They started killing it in 2011. They have continued with the trace of 2020. He is waiting to make a vote of no confidence, to make a ruling that the Parliament of Kenya must be dissolved. He is waiting to impeach the president so that he takes the Parliament out, then come and become the Chief Justice left. You know the guy doesn't want to go. Do you know why? He wants to stick there. While Nelson Harvey is doing the run to bring a motion up to the apex that the Parliament is now be dissolved by law, therefore there's no Parliament, and then who made the Parliament to be dissolved? The man refused. Even also, President Uhuru Kenyatta violated the court order of appointing 41 judges. Therefore, this court finds Uhuru Kenyatta guilty. That's what they're waiting for. That's what George Soros' instructions are. And that's why another seducer, call him seducer. There is a word by John Green. John Green wrote and said, charming, seducing. Those who seduce, a man who topples governments, a man who camouflages, is white at night, is black during the daytime. We have them in Kenya. Read my article in the Capital FM News. It's hitting the waves now. It's on the radio, everybody. You read. I told you, gloves are off. You bring it, we bring it. You write, we write. We read this English. We did not go to school. We did not matter about it. Shoes at Owino or Bob or who. Our shoes were at the legs. And we read J.F. Wright. Bring it, we bring it. Our exams were not done. We are not written by people. Our exams were written by us. I wrote my exam and they gave me the marks that I got. Nobody wrote for me. And then I went to the university to look for a kofia to be put on top. No, God, no. Read that. John Green said, hello, be careful of seducers. They steal yesterday and then they turn on Uhuru Kenyatta. And they say, no, it is the other one. Be careful. Be careful of Maraga. Corruption of yesterday is still the corruption of today. Ambassador Letitia Assalam brought the money. When I was going to fix her in jail, she ran from Kenya. Now, so many good things are coming back for me. I'm reaping so many good things. Miriam, tomorrow, my sister, the story of tomorrow, will even encourage you to like me more. Have succeeded. You wait. I've succeeded so well, well organized, that now I have opened the channel that people could not open. Watch tomorrow, Diplomatic Leaks. It is the hottest of all, with evidence, Barua. It is not Matanga writing. I did not go there. There are people here. Miriam, do you know why I'm happy today? There are people here who say, I do things that it is a lie, he lies. Now these letters are coming. They address Dr. Matsanga, Dr. David Nyekoran Matsanga, son of Soil. Because I've quoted them. I've quoted them with the UN Secretary General. In our part hour, I have quoted them, Miriam, now. You can't do anything and run away in international law. So those who think I'm just a talking shop here, you will get a shocker. Tomorrow, don't miss. Chronicles still continue every day. Anytime we decide, before we release the last moments of the Chronicles, we shall release. So Onyari has given very good advice. Why do you wait? Why do you wait for this to happen? Just pack and go. Pack, Mr. Chief Justice, right on 1st of September, just write and go for your terminal leave while we are calculating your retirement benefit. But the more you hold on around here, the Chronicles can come to dance at your desk. You remember that my bodyguards were done what? Hello? My injured driver and the bodyguard. Did you hear that, Kenya? Did you hear? Kenyans, did you hear that? Did the Kenyans hear that bodyguards of the Chief Justice official car had an accident? They were treated in hospital. Leo nakupata mzee. You do very well, Sirole, because you know, for me, Miriam, 1 minute. If I'm defeated on certain things, I run very fast. Naenda, my sister, I want to tell you, I cannot wait for my wife, that beautiful wife of mine, from the royal family of the Buganda kingdom, to come and say, David, look at me, David. David, look at me again. In things like that, I run very fast. Wacha nikwambie William, nakimbia. Because my wife would ask me, David, really, did you do this? No, I don't want. Things, when they're difficult, I run away. And I resign. I swear in the name of God, look at my history. I have ever resigned and I was called back. You resign and then let people find your value. Then you say, please come back. But you can't tell me, let's come and meet at 12. Like Malala, Senator Malala, rudisha pesa za watu. Come at 12, you have taken mafia money. Come at 12 and present yourself at the hotel. Petier, he never came. So then he goes and said, camera, video. They have come, they want to take me. No. Rudisha zi engine, ukule. This is very interesting, Mr. Onyari. I think it is good we keep on talking on this television because some of these stories can kill us. You know that? When you hear this story, the heart becomes even sick. Hear a story of a very senior senator you think cannot take 500,000, then take 400,000, then they fail to turn up. And the story is being told by the man who gave the money. What do you think? Doesn't it kill you?
Yeah.
So our country, your countries in Africa, we are dirty. We are done. You hear of a man calling an election without testing you. We are done. That is scientific election without testing you. How will you, without sulfuric acid, how will you know the litmus test was successful? Jamen, lakini nyenye. What is killing Africa? What's killing Africa? You are a thief. You have told us that it was not 20 billion, 21 billion, it was 7. So what we are demanding now, bring the 7. Don't turn the heat on President Uhuru Kenyatta. Bring 7. Bring back the Italian man who took the money. He's still alive. COVID-19 has not taken him to the grave. He's lucky, very lucky. Because with these crimes of eating people's money, God should have selected there first. Sorry, God forbid I'm a Christian. But that COVID-19 man did not take him. He's there, he took the money. 7 billion, not 21 billion. Now we are jumping on a new product because we assume, we allege it is Uhuru who has taken. You allege, you pay people. There's another friend of mine who is waking up from Indian Ocean, where he lives in Kwale and making noise. I know how to handle him. Then there's another friend of mine in Canada also making noise. Now, what type of people are these? Me, I don't make noise without this evidence. Nakuwa na hii. Unaona hii? Miriam, this, then this, then, there is a big one here. There's a big one here. Then this. This is now big. So, everybody have kept here slowly. Now, copies I've kept in the bank, central building, so that they don't kill me and take them. Now I have my ink here, so I don't make silly mistakes of making allegations. Maraga, on 12th of September 2011, how did you buy that farm in Nakuru? How did you pay it quickly from the salary you got? I rest my case. So if you want to contest on this, I will bring more. It's only the beginning. I have not talked about elections, Miriam, because people will think I support Uhuru. That's why I'm talking about elections. I've left Mr. Professor to talk about it because I have evidence which I will bring why Maraga immediately after nullification flew to Hungary. From Hungary he went to Livonia. From Livonia he went into another capital, John Jomue, Maina Kiai. All of them, all NGOs flew in there. So please, Muse, please just go. And they didn't see me also flying in the same place. They thought I was a stupid man. None of them saw me. And that's how investigative I am. All my Bazungu investigators saw everything. They know. That's how we got Ocampo. Ocampo came to the gambling machine. You know how we got Ocampo? Gambling machine. This gambling machine there in Paris is when we started tracing his date of birth and arrived on his gambling habits. Where is Ocampo today? He's gone. Wacha nibebe kitabu yangu niende nyumbani bwana. Asante sana Miriam. This is the beginning of the Chronicles. Yes, that guy there. There's another guy whom John Green said a seducer, a charmer, charismatic, but he's a toppler of government. Woo-hoo-hoo. Read it. It's very good English. After all, you enrich your English language, all of you. Thank you, Father Teacher. Thanks. Today I'm very happy. I'll tell you why.
All right, very well, Doctor. Thank you.
Yes, I'll tell you why after this.
Very well.
Not offline.
Sawa.
Thank you for keeping that good smile. despite the catastrophe we have.
Okay, Professor Jared, thank you. Tunane kesho, Daniel. Tunane kesho, Doctor. Not another word from you. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll meet you at 10 a.m.
Peace must be our